KMOV TV Channel 4, the Vision of St. Louis, is proud to present Keepers of a Kingdom, celebrating one of our community's greatest assets, the St. Louis Zoo. This special program is brought to you as part of Channel 4's Vision of St. Louis.
It is the first trace of light on the rim of night. The cheetahs are stretching and stirring. Breakfast is soon. The hippos are bathing, the elephants are showering, and the reptiles are settling in for a snooze. It is morning at the St. Louis Zoo, natural and peaceful and beautiful.
These are special times for everyone that works at the zoo, the early morning hours. It's quiet, it's peaceful. You have a sense that the zoo is your own, of course, which is always special for everyone.
Roger Burkle is the director of animal divisions at the zoo. All the curators report to him. But in these early morning hours, Roger is a casual visitor, checking on his animals, checking on his friends.
When I started here a long time ago, I always wondered what would be the first real, large, interesting animal that would go extinct in my time here at the zoo. And some of those animals are very, very close. The black rhinoceros is almost gone. Tigers are almost gone. A number of creatures which are really threatened in the wild. Animals which the keepers here have worked with all their lives.
There is an innocence to these animals, a vulnerability for even the fastest or the strongest among them. They are unknowing refugees, fleeing a world where man and animal compete for space. The zoo is their last home and their last hope.
Well, we're going to lose some. In spite of our efforts, there's some are going to go. But we're going to save some.
This is Charlie Hessel's domain. He's director of the St. Louis Zoo. Charlie has worked here for more than 30 years. In that time, world human population has doubled and world animal population has dwindled.
And it really wasn't until about 20 years ago when the world suddenly realized, hey, the jungles are disappearing, the rainforests are almost gone. A lot of species that were formerly plentiful in the wild are almost extinct.
This is the story of one zoo's love for animals, the ones here and in the wild alike. A new zoo, vastly different from just 25 years ago. A zoo of research and modern medicine. A zoo committed to saving not just individual animals, but entire species. A zoo probing microbes, looking for new ways to increase reproduction among its most treasured residents. A zoo hoping to reintroduce animals back into the wild, if only there is a place left to release them. Tonight, you will see the close relationship between human and animal, a behind-the-scenes look at a side of the zoo you've never seen. You will see why the keepers at the St. Louis Zoo view themselves, and ultimately view you, as keepers of a kingdom.
Hi, I'm Mary Thielen. Thanks for joining us for the first of our Celebrate St. Louis specials. As part of our Vision of St. Louis project, Celebrate St. Louis is Channel 4's way of celebrating some of the great things about living in our community. And we think the St. Louis Zoo is a great place to start.
The gates are open now. Visitors are straggling in. School groups wander all 88 acres of the St. Louis Zoo. This is home to 6,053 animals. Best anyone can tell. Of course, there might be a kangaroo or two hidden in Mama's pouch. 674 species here in all, and 65 zookeepers keeping watch.
Come on, Pearl.
Nick Nicholson serves up breakfast to the elephants.
Raja, come on, buddy.
And he invites Raja in for a morning swim.
Easy, gets right in. Little cold this morning, huh? Little too cold for you, Raj?
Nick knows his elephants, knows them like family.
Well, you do. It's kind of like you come in the morning and instead of sitting around the water cooler with the guys talking about the weekend, you do tend to start talking to them and things. I don't want to say too much about that. They might be sending me to the shrink or something. But
well, one of the special things about being a keeper at the zoo is you do get a chance to have that close relationship with the animal. We all know we're here for good reasons. Science is a part of the zoo. The big picture and saving animals is a part of the zoo. But really one of the things that keeps us all going and keeps us loving this place is the chance to get close to the animals and to think of them really as a part of our family.
The closeness becomes obvious if you spend much time within these cast iron walls. The keepers are committed to their jobs, not because of the paycheck, which by all accounts is small, but because what they do is important in itself.
Yeah, you don't get paid much to work at the zoo, but the payoff in terms of knowing you're really contributing really make a difference. You know, I've seen it, in the years I've worked here.
A zoo is kind of like a little family type thing where everybody has the same thing in common, and that's they like animals.
Good girl, Sakari. It's a good girl. Such a good girl. She's a good cheetah girl.
It is a love for animals that drives Steve Bircher. Steve is assistant curator of mammals. His duties are many, with animals in his care ranging from harbor seals to polar bears to big cats.
She's still got a little bit of head control.
This morning, Steve and head keeper Gary Noble have immobilized an ailing cheetah named Achille. They're taking her to the zoo hospital for tests.
I mean, the animal's life is at stake. Anytime you immobilize an animal is under anesthesia, there's a risk involved, and you have to constantly monitor the animal's respirations and pulse, and yeah, we're very much concerned about that animal.
Cheetahs are an endangered species, making the procedure all the more nerve-wracking for everyone involved.
It's a tremendous responsibility, yeah, because you can't replace these animals that easily. If one of them would die for some reason, we can't just go out, we just can't run down to the pets shop and replace it like you could a guinea pig or a mouse or a rabbit or whatever. No, can you move with us while we're doing that? Or?
Doctors want a close look at Achilles' stomach. They will pass an endoscope down the trachea to see if they can find the problem.
Her respiration, she doing all right? She breathing okay and everything all right? Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Steve is like a nervous father. Achilles is like his own child.
That's true. We probably spend more time with these animals than we do our own families.
What's that? Is that a worm?
What is that? Is that a worm? Oh, good. Get it out of there.
The parasite can be grabbed with tiny jaws at the end of the scope. Achilles' problem is taken care of simply, without surgery.
It's a good girl.
This is one of the major differences between the old zoo and the new zoo. Medical advances are helping zoo animals live longer and healthier lives than that of their counterparts in the wild.
Let's go, Achilles. Let's go back home.
Steve's day is off to a good start, but he's dreading his next duty. Just thinking about it last night caused him to lose sleep. This morning, two female lions, Osha and Oni, will become reacquainted with Oba, one of the zoo's two male African lions. The two females haven't seen Oba in several months. They are to be reintroduced this morning in hopes that eventually they will breed. This reintroduction is as necessary as it is unpredictable. The big question on Steve's mind is, will they get along?
I feel real funny about it. I mean, like, it could go either way. He might try to attack that female. He did once before.
The more aggressive of the two females, Osha, has stood her ground, forcing Oba to beat a hasty retreat. Oba stops to reassess, while Oni, the more passive female, waits and watches from a distance. These repeated confrontations are not what Steve had hoped to see, but it's not unexpected.
You know, it's funny because a certain amount of aggression is necessary with these guys, and you would see that in the wild as well as you would see it here. Warning all the Oba! Easy!
Steve's shouts are now beginning to hold Oba at bay. The 400-pound lion responds to the familiar voice out of respect and trust. The safety of all the lions is Steve's mission and burden.
Zoos and people that work in zoos have a tremendous responsibility. We're dealing with endangered species. What we do in zoos today may determine the fate of these animals. We may be able to keep these animals around for another 100, 200 years, hopefully. That's a big responsibility.
As the morning goes on, the lions grow more at ease. The high drama appears to be over, at least for now. Keepers will keep close watch on the lion yard in the next few weeks. They hope today is the beginning of a time of courtship and mating. They hope for a baby lion.
Well, we do these things for a reason, and they're very important reasons.
The night before, the zoo had another new arrival, a baby zebra. She was born on the day of a total eclipse, and so the staff has named the baby Eclipse. Keepers carry Eclipse for a weigh-in and then a well-baby checkup with a zoo veterinarian. Dr. Eric Miller will inoculate Eclipse with a series of shots, basically the same shots a horse would get.
Here go the shots. Well, we haven't even done it yet.
This is the first time the keepers have held the baby zebra. It is also the last time. They don't want Eclipse to become imprinted on them. They want her to be a zebra. They don't want her to think she's a human. From afar, they will watch the newest member of this endangered species grow to adulthood.
It's a great delight to watch the animals grow. We have many births here in the zoo grounds, and to just watch them grow and watch them experiment, watch them interact with other animals in the group for the first time. And a portion of that keeper's life is really spent just observing the animals and watching them.
Eclipse and her mother will be watched as part of an ongoing mother-infant research project at the zoo. Volunteers sit in front of a monitor and watch videotapes of interaction between mother and baby. They meticulously chart the animal's behavior. This information will signal keepers if things are going normally.
She's so beautiful. So that a curator at our zoo as well as at any other zoo can know, well, how many times a day would this species, would a baby of this species nurse? Would it be 2 or 3 times a day, or would it be 30 times a day?
Research at the zoo takes many forms. Mounted cameras allow researchers into a world previously forbidden.
We'd like to know what the animals do at night when there's no one around. Is their behavior different?
At other times, research is done in broad daylight, but out of sight of zoo visitors.
Okay.
On this morning, keepers are gathering behind the antelope yard, planning to collect blood samples from the addax, a rare and endangered species of antelope. Addax number fewer than 200 in the wild, and the St. Louis Zoo is leading the way in an attempt to save them from extinction.
Here she comes. Go, girl. Go, girl. Come on. Come on, girl. Keep going. Drop.
The addax is trapped in a V-shaped chute. Blood is drawn to check estrogen and progesterone levels. A transmitter on the back of the addax measures the activity level and temperature of the animal. Keepers call this type of research biotelemetry.
If addax are like domestic cattle and a number of other species that have been studied with telemetry, there should be some temperature changes associated with when they're getting ready to come into heat and be receptive to males. There should also be some temperature changes associated with when they're about to give birth.
The information from the transmitter is beamed from the back of the addax to this antenna and then relayed inside to a computer. Information is downloaded. Meanwhile, they watch the animals to see if outward behavioral changes correspond to the inward changes charted by telemetry.
We hope that by doing this basic work, a lot of the other zoos that are working on other aspects of this particular project don't have to repeat those steps then. They can take the information that we're using and they can apply that directly to their phase of the project, and the work can move forward much more quickly.
You can come in now.
At the other end of the zoo, Steve Bircher is about to enter the cheetah yard. The Cheetah Survival Center is a point of pride at the St. Louis Zoo. In the past 20 years, more than 30 cheetahs have been born here.
This is Sukari. Hi. So the first thing we do is just let her kind of get to know us a little bit. And if you just put your hand down, let her smell you a little bit, she'll be okay. And what we're going to do She's probably going to lick you a little bit. This is an adult female. And Sukari is very important to the St. Louis Zoo and actually to the cheetah population because she's one of the few cheetahs in the country that has reproduced. In fact, she's had 4 litters here over the last 5 or 6 years, and the information that we get from her is very important. And today what we're going to do is get a vaginal swab from her.
The swab test will show keepers if Sukari is pregnant or if now is a good time for breeding.
So it's just a quick insertion, and then he rotates at 360 degrees. Then he has the cells on the tip of the Q-tip here.
These cheetahs know and respect their keepers, but outsiders? Well, that can be a different story. This cheetah, named Achille, cozied up to photographer Gary Womack and also to producer Al Frank, at least for a while. But those signs posted about cheetah bites are there for good reason, as our producer was about to find out.
I'll kind of keep track of her head end here. Okay, now watch her. She's getting a little bit too close to you, Al. Okay, wait a minute. She's definitely interested in Al's back. Let me just see what she's going to do to you. If she's going to just smell you or... Oh, did she get you? Did she get you? Did she get you?
Fortunately, Al's wallet took the brunt of the bite, not even a scratch from Achilles' sneak attack. Cheetahs are the fastest land animal, capable of running short sprints of 65 miles an hour. But it cannot outrun the gradual onset of man. Cheetahs are endangered because of widespread poaching for their skin and because of loss of their native land.
What's disheartening sometimes is to think that that habitat may disappear. That in zoos today, we're trying to maintain a genetic reserve so that someday we may possibly supplement those wild populations. But if those areas don't exist in the wild, then that can be very disheartening.
Research at the St. Louis Zoo is not confined to aesthetically pleasing animals. A babirusa, a type of wild pig, is given the same type of attention a cheetah might get.
Okay, there it is. You were on it. I saw some backbone. Yeah, okay, that's it.
Reproductive biologist Cheryl Asa watches the screen during an ultrasound of a pregnant babirusa.
And we got the idea because it's done with domestic pigs, and we wanted to see if we could also do it with this kind of wild pig.
Sonogram procedures happen daily at the zoo. Spider monkeys, zebras, gazelles, they are all given ultrasounds.
That emphasizes the commitment we have to understanding the animals, especially to the end of giving them better care, being able to manage them better and to understand their needs better.
At the herbarium, there are many poisonous snakes. Not a problem as long as they're behind the glass, right? But there are times when the keepers must handle them.
One of the problems with breeding snakes in captivity is being able to tell the difference between a male and female snake. Some snakes, it's a little easier to tell the difference just by looking at them. Others, it's very difficult.
Reptiles curator Ron Gellner is trying to coax this copperhead into the plastic tube.
We hope this is the right size tube.
Selecting the right tube is critical. If the tube is a little too large, the snake might bring his head back around and try to bite the handler.
This one's getting ready to shed too, so we'll have to be careful with him, or her, as the case may be. Got him good, Jer?
Yeah.
You got him, I'm going to let go. Watch his head too if he turns around.
Watch it.
That's okay, he won't go all the way.
As you can tell, Ron has done this many times. That experience minimizes the danger.
The most dangerous part of working in the reptiles is driving to work every day. This is what we say, coming down Highway 40 or Highway 44.
Ron will use the probe to determine the sex of this snake.
If it goes in, it's a male. If it doesn't, it's a female. And in this case, we probably have a female because the probe only goes back a couple scale lengths. But it's not always that obvious. And every once in a while, we'll have a male lay an egg suddenly and realize, whoa, that wasn't a male.
No keeper has been bitten by a venomous snake at the zoo in more than 25 years, but that was of little comfort to Jerry McNeil the day he transferred here.
Well, I was a little apprehensive because when I started here, I had a fear of snakes.
Jerry was about to transfer from a more benign environment, the birdhouse.
And I said, well, I didn't know if I could handle working with snakes. And they said, well, we will train you. We will teach you all about these animals.
It takes 5 years of training before handling all the different types of venomous snakes. The training is extensive, but there's always that first real encounter with a cobra.
Well, it was exciting and it was scary at the same time. And some people thrive on that kind of thing, like people who jump out of airplanes for excitement.
Just after this interview, Jerry had an accident. No, not a snake bite. While riding his bicycle during his lunch break, his front wheel fell off and he broke 5 ribs. For Jerry, the most dangerous part of the job appears to be lunch break. The St. Louis Zoo is like a city. It has its own police force, transportation system, restaurants. And within this newly constructed building, called the Endangered Species Center, it even has its own hospital. Inside, an orangutan named Mira is on the operating table. Mira will be the first orangutan to undergo an artificial insemination procedure.
If you're involved in the zoo at all, you're involved in reproduction. And I know that sounds funny, but of course one of our goals is to continually populate the captive spaces with species and eventually perhaps reintroduce these animals.
Today, artificial insemination has a low success rate in humans and animals alike. This operation fails to result in a baby for Mira, but much is learned. More attempts will follow, not only with orangutans, but with other endangered species.
This kind of work, of course, gives us more control. And it also means that we might be able to actually go into the wild, collect semen or collect eggs from a female, bring it into captivity, artificially inseminate, and produce genetic offspring in captivity without actually removing an animal from the wild. Now that's far in the future. We don't have that expertise yet. Science moves slowly and science is repetitive. You must try over and over and over again before you get that good continued success. But we are working on that. It's a strong program in all professional zoos, and eventually it'll happen.
Versatility is the watchword for a zoo veterinarian. Every conceivable animal is a potential patient. A zoo vet might operate on a banting one moment and a hedgehog the next. Then there are the really big problems, like Tommy the tapir. Tommy has collapsed in his stall and he can't get up.
Tommy's 22 years old, and that's fairly old for a tapir, so it just could be many complicating factors.
They decide to x-ray Tommy, but first, he must be anesthetized. Tommy's skin is a half-inch thick, so zoo vet Randy Youngie must use a dart gun. When the anesthetic kicks in, they will move Tommy to the hospital for x-rays, but they will be sure he's immobilized before they enter the enclosure. Tapirs can do some damage.
They're built very special that they can run through the forest. They're built more like a torpedo, where their head's smaller and their rum's bigger. So if there's a predator running after them, they can run through the jungle quickly.
Bill Houston gently taps Tommy on the nose, and then he calls in the moving crew.
No, he's well over 600 pounds, so we have quite a crew here that we will put him on a stretcher and put him in the back of the animal division van and take him to the hospital.
1, 2, 3.
Yeah, we're not at the door yet.
Oh man, is that as far as that door opens? 1, 2, 3. Yeah, did you have your weeding this morning?
You better believe it. So that's just part of the job, is we have to learn to carry some of these big animals to the hospital so they can be treated well.
At other times, instead of the animal coming to them, the vets make a house call. Eric Miller is about to vaccinate 2 Siberian tigers and 2 snow leopards for some common cat viruses.
I think we're about ready to go in.
Eric knows the big cats won't be happy to see him. They've been through this before.
And they recognize the veterinarian, and they don't associate the veterinarian with the benefits of modern medicine. Hi, Bill. There's usually some roaring and screaming. It's one of the vets that seems to rouse them a little more, but it's just part of the job.
But it doesn't get your heart pumping a little faster?
During the time it does, yeah. One of the keepers said once they're just trying to scare you, and sometimes they're fairly effective.
How are you today?
Eric will be shooting a pressurized dart through a blowpipe. The dart is filled with the vaccine, and then a silicone sleeve is positioned over the holes in the needle. Compressed air holds the sleeve in place.
Put it in the blowpipe. Attaboy.
When the dart hits the tiger and the needle goes through the skin, the silicone sleeve pushes backwards. The holes in the needle are exposed, and the vaccine comes out.
You know something's up. Do you want to give me a shoulder?
Try, sweetheart. Easy.
If you look the other way, your head's in the way. Stuck and fired. Okay. You're next.
4 shots and 4 hits. Mission accomplished.
That's it. Done for another year.
Preventing health problems is a major part of a zoo vet's job. Back at the hospital, the next 2 hours will be eventful for Randy Youngie. His first patient is from the Children's Zoo, a Hyrax named Little Rock. Carol Fiesler from the Children's Zoo has a definite concern for Little Rock's health.
We need to stress to the veterinarian this is my favorite animal.
We stress to Carol that we take care of them all, no matter whose favorite they are.
Little Rock is given anesthesia so that Randy can look at the stomach and intestines with an endoscope.
You can see his teeth. This is why we were doing them under anesthesia.
Randy is checking out Little Rock because Carol noticed the Hyrax was losing a lot of weight.
Their animals are their families, and if the animals are distressed, the keepers notice right away. If anything wrong with their health, other problems, that right away it's recognized.
Okay, here we are looking in the stomach. Those look like ulcers. The spots there.
Little Rock will be treated with medication and put on a special diet. This simple procedure has spared the Hyrax more invasive exploratory surgery, although Little Rock wasn't too fond of it.
Whoa. His ears tickle. He got his ears cleaned up. You found him down like this morning. Not moving at all. Wasn't flapping or anything.
A keeper has discovered this heron lying on the ground at the birdhouse.
This is an old heron that has had some medical problems that has gotten much worse.
This heron is scheduled for cataract surgery with an ophthalmologist next week.
He's an important breeder, so we thought that we would try to attempt to extract the cataracts. He was doing fine. They have to hand feed him because he's blind.
But now, after this morning's accident, the heron is in critical condition.
On this guy, it is a waiting game. Next half an hour will tell a lot. If he stabilizes on the emergency medical care we gave him, he may have a chance. Unfortunately, that happens too. Every animal that dies in the zoo gets a complete autopsy performed so we can find out exactly what the cause of death was. So hopefully we can learn from all of our experiences. There's always a question of could you have done more, could you have done something sooner? Those are always difficult. But all you can do is learn from your experiences and work harder on that. Avoid the same situations in the future. And I think we're always learning. Every case we learn from, and in the next case you do a little better.
It's a favorite spot for many zoo visitors, the jungle of the apes. They come and watch the antics of the gorillas and the chimpanzees. But not one of these visitors is aware of what's going on in the back area, just a few feet away. They don't know a thing about 2 young chimps named Hugo and Jimmy. Hugo and Jimmy spend all day, every day, playing together. And playing with their keepers, Alice Seyfried and Meg White.
I mean, sometimes you just have to pinch yourself and think,
Gosh, I am getting paid for this. This is amazing.
Think about them all the time. Because they get to be really a part of your daily routine when you take care of them every day.
It's obvious that 1-year-old Hugo and 2-year-old Jimmy are rambunctious and they do enjoy playing together. These two guys wouldn't be together now if not for odd circumstances. Hugo's mother nursed him only long enough to keep him alive. She left him on his bed for long periods of time and basically neglected him.
So Hugo used to cry when she'd leave him on the bed by himself, and after a while he quit crying because he knew she wouldn't come and get him. And after 5 weeks, we figured that, socially he would be so far behind. He needed care and attention. He needed touching and holding, and he wasn't getting it from his mother. His father, interestingly enough, seemed to care more about him than his mother did.
So they began hand-raising Hugo. Keepers were with him during the day, and volunteers stayed with him at night, changing his diaper, feeding him bottles, and just trying to get him to respond.
I think we were all worried in the beginning because he was so non-responsive, and then after 2 to 3 months when he started picking up and holding on to us and actually looking around. Before that he didn't look around, he didn't just do much of anything, and it was so wonderful to watch the change come about, like your own child.
As time goes on, Hugo gets more and more daring.
He's gonna jump. That's pretty good for him.
That's very good. When he does something that he thinks is really neat and really an achievement for him, he gets that funny, he knows it. He has a lot of confidence in his ability. He gets that little funny look on his face, that little crooked smile, like if he jumps off the climber. I can do it.
Hugo is making up for his early setback with the help of his friend Jimmy. Jimmy is here thanks to the Lincoln Park Zoo in Chicago.
We knew it was important for Hugo to be peer socialized with somebody that was close to his own age and certainly his own species. And Jimmy was living with a gorilla in Lincoln Park, so it was much better for Jimmy to be living with another chimp.
And it's so much fun for us to watch Hugo try the things that Jimmy has shown him. And when Jimmy's doing something, you're not really aware of the fact that Hugo's just taking it all in.
He's so proud of himself.
Hugo is learning how to be a chimp from Jimmy. I mean, that's all there is to it.
Jimmy isn't always a model chimp. He gets carried away sometimes. And Jimmy is learning the meaning of time out.
You got crazy in there. Why'd you do that? Huh? Got crazy. They're all in there. Yeah, he is sorry. I think he is. He didn't want to come out from where all the fun was. This is definitely working. And right now, I really think he's thinking, hey, wait a second. How come I came in here? And he's listening to every word I'm saying. I mean, you can see. Yes, he's going to grow up to be a very good chimp.
In the next few months, this chimp named Mahandi will join Hugo and Jimmy. She'll be their adopted sister. Mahandi will be transferred from the Lincoln Park Zoo, where she's currently paired with a baby gorilla who loves to wrestle. All 3 of the baby chimps will be introduced as a group to their foster parents, Smoke and Molly. The introduction is already beginning through a glass window.
Precocious. Here comes Smoke. Gotta get that. Goodness, don't hurt my boys.
This use of foster parents has worked well with other animals at the St. Louis Zoo. Right now, 2 female black lemurs and their adopted babies are inseparable. They hope for the same kind of bonding in the chimpanzee family. Like parents sending their children to college, Meg and Alice will watch as Hugo and Jimmy graduate to the chimpanzee colony. They will live in this large glass yard. They will learn to fit into the family and learn to see Meg and Alice through walls of glass and metal.
I think really I'm going to be so happy when I see them go in with Smoke and Molly. And that'll be a really nice thing to know that what we've done well enough that we're going to make it to that end, that they're going to go in with Smoke and Molly and that they're going to be chimps. I'm sure that when the time comes, I'll be like, oh no, but I think it'll be good. I think I'll be happy. I really do.
In another part of the jungle of the apes, 5 male gorillas frolic in the sun. There is Rafiki, Rumpel, Jabari, Keto, and the silverback, Leo. They are western lowland gorillas, vegetarians, weighing up to 450 pounds. They each have their own personality, and as a species, they are endangered. At the St. Louis Zoo, there are 2 groups of gorillas, this bachelor group and a family group. Meg White helped hand-raise 3 of the gorillas a few years ago. She remembers their first contact with Fred the silverback. She remembers the 3 huddled together their first time in the glassed-in yard. And she remembers the pride of seeing them fit into the family.
And there was a period when we just felt so proud that we were able to successfully reintroduce these young gorillas to a family group, which happened to be their own family, and to see them react so well with the adult male and actually become members of the group.
But now, her boys are grown, and there can be only limited contact with them. She can tickle their back or play a game of tug, but Meg still longs to hold them as she did when they were babies.
Oh yeah, I mean the loss of that physical contact is terrible. I mean the young gorillas are now 6 and 5 years old, and I still, wish I could go in and cuddle with them, but that's not too plausible.
Still, she has her private moments with them.
And often if I'm sad for whatever reason or depressed or something, I'll go seek the company of, my favorite apes here and just sit down and have I call them a little quiet moment, and the other keepers go, oh, okay. So I'm over there playing with Juma or something. It makes me feel better.
Meg knows the species survival plan coordinators might decide at any time to transfer one of her gorillas to another zoo for breeding purposes. Often a keeper will go with the animal to its new zoo for a time to help with the transition. Meg made the trip when a gorilla named Matati was transferred to Albuquerque.
And she was mad at me from the moment we got into the truck to the moment we got there. She just thought, this is all your fault. What are you doing to me, And so as the time drew to the end, I thought, well, gosh, I feel like I haven't helped her. I haven't helped anybody here. So it was the day I had to leave, and I went up to her cage, and, she wasn't let out into the normal facility yet. She was still in quarantine. And I went over to her, and I said, well, Matati, and I was getting all choked up, and I said, I love you. I'm going to miss you. Take care of yourself. You're going to have a great life here. And, I got to go. I'll see you whenever I'm in Albuquerque next, And I started crying. And she had been so nasty to me up until that point, just purposely ignoring me. And as I got up to leave, all of a sudden I heard this. I wanted to die. This chill just went right down my back, and I thought, oh my God. I mean, she knew. She could read my emotions. She knew. She didn't know what I said, but she knew that I was sad and that I was leaving, and she felt it. And that, it was awful, but it made me feel really good, that all had been an act, She was just mad for the moment, and she was going to miss me. It was sad. So I call the keeper all the time, find out how she's doing.
At the St. Louis Zoo, the relationships at the Jungle of the Apes are most compelling to watch. There are the relationships between the 5 males in the bachelor group. There are the reactions of the family group, slowly learning to accept a new dominant male named Wanto. Wanto has had problems fitting in. He transferred after the death of Fred, a silverback very popular with gorillas and keepers alike. Fred was euthanized because of severe pain from osteoarthritis. Wanto is beginning to show a few signs that he might soon accept his new family and his new home.
He's really looking right at him. That's great. I'm glad to see he's so calm, too. Often he gets aggravated when the people can see him so close with this glass. He's used to being outside in a large enclosure, so sometimes the glass is irritating to him, but this is great. He's being very calm.
But perhaps the most compelling of all are the relationships between keeper and animal. One look at their private time together, the time spent through openings of the heavy metal door, with the games and the tickling and the occasional kiss. One look at that, and you begin to understand why this is a kingdom worth keeping.
It's not poisonous, is it?
No, it's not. It's a constrictor. It squeezes.
Oh.
At the Children's Zoo, there is a laying of hands on Oliver the boa constrictor.
I like the snake. Look at the snake.
Oliver is a big hit, even with Carly, a fearless 18-month-old seeing a snake for the first time.
What do you think, huh?
But the kids are much more willing
215.
to, I think because they don't have the fear that I think we acquire over the years.
Carol Fiesler is the expert at the Children's Zoo. Carol has worked here since it opened 25 years ago.
25 years ago it opened, and it was a revolutionary idea in children's zoos. Up until then, the children's zoos had either a farm theme or a nursery Mother Goose type of theme.
We wanted to feature not only domestic animals, like goats and pigs, we wanted to feature exotic animals also. It was designed so all the cages were low, so that they were a child's eye view. There were no railings, no barriers so kids can get right up to the glass and interact.
The nudges from behind are from Jasmine the baby camel. Jasmine wants a walk and some attention.
And all the other buildings where they go, you know, they can read the signs and they can look at the animals. When they come to Children's Zoo, they get on-hands experience, which they're going to remember. We want to educate them that there's more to this animal than just, you know, an entertainment purpose, that it's a living creature. And by petting them, as you said before, they're going to hopefully come away with a greater appreciation for it. And even if it means going home and taking better care of their dog or their cat, or cleaning the hamster's cage more than once a week, if they have that feeling, that's going to carry all over with them as they mature.
It's really been neat to be able to have this outdoor area for...
The zoo's education department wants adults to have a greater insight into the world of animals, too.
But really what we're hoping is to change people's attitudes and help them feel more comfortable about sharing the world with animals. These folks may go on to put up a bird feeder or may get involved in their local communities to help restore habitat. They may get involved with their grandchildren or with their friends in different projects or help to spread that appreciation for wildlife. And that's what we're hoping happens here.
The education department at the zoo focuses on cultivating a concern for the entire environment.
We want to get the story of animals and their conservation to every person. We believe that if you can make a person curious, there's no way you can stop them from learning. And that's really our function, to take the message of the zoo out to every citizen.
Could this animal survive here in Missouri? The answer is no.
One way to send the message is through classroom studies on the zoo grounds, where children can get an up-close look at the animals. Teachers can also assemble their own video lessons or check out zoo resource materials.
Because there are a lot of teachers that can't, for one reason or another, bring their kids here for a field trip. We want to do the next best thing and, you know, reach out to them with some special services.
There is also the Living World, a high-tech, hands-on learning center.
Because it's really a cutting-edge facility to attract an audience to our important conservation messages, to make it exciting, to let them pull it all together, to experience the information, the sense of fascination for what animals are all about.
25 years ago it was pure entertainment. While it had an educational mission, the educational role was very low level. And people came to see the animal shows, to be excited, buy a hot dog, buy a balloon, run around, have a good time. And today, while we still entertain the visitors, and they come here for entertainment, they don't mind learning. In fact, they're hungry for knowledge.
We hope you have an even greater understanding of one of the treasures of our community, the St. Louis Zoo. You know, there are many ways you can get involved here at the zoo. Things like the Zoo Friends program, the Adopt a Parent program, and we urge you to get involved and help support the zoo effort. And by the way, don't forget, look for more Celebrate St. Louis programs in the months to come right here on Channel 4.
For more information about how you can help the zoo, call 768-5440.